Oh, hi! You caught me terrifying you. Happy Halloween, everybody. I see people are filtering into the chat room. Hello to Sigamigs, Elmer, and Jean. Hello, Seed Hill. Happy Halloween to you all. Well, I guess not you, Seed Hill. It must be the next day, right? So yeah, we've got a pretty cool thing going on here. Let's see, it's the last day of Inktober. So that was a pretty cool ride. I'm very grateful for everybody coming in to a live stream every day of the month. I think that's pretty cool. I'll get rid of this little purge mask that I put on, and we can get to drawing. Right? That's what we're here for. To learn how to draw better. At least that's my goal. Let's see. Some other folks jumping into the chat. Hello, Ren. Hello, Iron Shell. Hello, James. Hello. Let's see. What is that mask? It's from The Purge. It's really cheap. But yeah. Happy Halloween to James. Hello, Joseph. Yeah, I just happened to have that mask. Got it for like a gag in some comic tropes or other. And I was just like, oh, it's Halloween. Got to put on a mask. Glad you're feeling well. No. Hello, Steven. Hello, Daniel. Hello, Joseph. Yeah, Joseph. Okay, I already said hello. But, so, today's Inktober prompt was ripe. Made me think of the young ladies at the Dance Academy, Markos Dance Academy, in the movie Suspiria. Either one, really, but I'm doing the remake, which I actually prefer to the original. Sometimes people are like, why remake stuff? Well, sometimes, not often, but sometimes you can make it better. And that's open to interpretation. Just wrapped up Inktober myself. It'd be nice to take a break. Yeah, I feel you on that one. Not 100% sure when exactly I'll be taking a break, but I'm at least taking a small break from the daily live stream. And I'll plan to do these weekly or so. That's my goal. And just going to focus some of my energies into the show. And I am trying to do a page of art for somebody's comic. So I've got things that I owe people. Drawing a very small face, so I'm using a technical pen right now instead of a brush. And then I'll switch over to the brush as soon as I can sort of get some of the facial details in place. Let's see. Better than the OG? I think so, Rude Dog. I think so. What's the best horror remake for you? I think it'd have to be this. It'd have to be Suspiria. Hello, Difficult. Let's see, what else? Yeah, the original Suspiria is definitely an effective movie. I like Argento's stuff in general. But I do think that like the remake of Suspiria was actually scarier, and it was definitely about something other than just sort of trying to be scary. So I appreciated those elements. The Thing was pretty good. That's true. I should consider that. Like I'm a big fan of The Thing, which is a remake technically. Hello, Samuel. Hello, Dead Lee. Hello, Jack. Let's see. You had 3 trick-or-treaters. I gave them comic books. That's awesome. We had, Chrissy thinks somewhere between 70 and 100. Probably closer to 100. So we had a lot of trick-or-treaters. I got a lot of candy, and she thought that I bought too much. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe. But I think I'd rather be safe than sorry. And we were ultimately grateful that I got that because we used it all up. So it was definitely a busy year. Yeah, a lot. Cape Fear remake is underrated. Cape Fear is a good remake. That's true. There's several good horror movie remakes. I wouldn't necessarily say they're all better than the original, but some of them are still good. Like, I think the Dawn of the Dead remake is still a good movie. It's not better than the original, but it's still a good enough movie that I don't mind that it was created, you know? But I think that The Thing and Suspiria are definitely two that are, in my opinion, better than the original. Which is a big claim to make, I suppose. Hello, Sheldon. Are you sure it was the kids that ate it? Yes, we insisted that any kid that took candy had to eat it all in front of us, or they had to give it all back. I'm just kidding. A Star is Born is really good. Yeah, I was talking specifically about horror remakes, but that's very fair. Yeah, Scarface is a remake. There's lots of good remakes. I was right now focusing purely on horror, but yeah, the Fly, that's true. The Fly is a really good one. The remake of The Wicker Man is a travesty. That's the truth. I really like the original Wicker Man. It's a weird movie, you know, full of like folk songs, and you know, the main character, Howie, is not that likable in a way. He's kind of an uptight jerk, but he definitely doesn't deserve, you know, the fate that befalls him from the cultists. So, yeah, it's I like that movie quite a bit. Whoa, a super chat already. Let's see. Lazy Cat Comics says, Happy Halloween. Thank you to you as well. Sad to say I won't be able to watch again tonight, but still wanted to show my support and say how much I respect you and your show. Have a great night. Well, you've made it a great night, so I definitely will have a great night. Thank you, Lazy Cat. That's much appreciated. Much, much appreciated. The Wicker Man has to be Nicolas Cage's worst movie? Nah, I don't think so. I think, what was that? Left Behind. He did a remake of Left Behind, that Christian movie. I think that one's worse. That is nice, yeah. Isn't that amazing? Thank you, Lazy Cat. That's... Wow. I'm sometimes at a loss for words, and like such an act of kindness is definitely one that I don't necessarily know exactly what to say. Cara Bear, hello. Happy Halloween. I see that for the stream you dressed as a former real-life superhero turned comic book reviewer YouTuber. Yes, that's exactly what I decided to dress as tonight. I'm glad you picked up on the subtlety of my outfit. Happy Halloween, Benjamin. What am I drawing? I'm drawing some of the dancers from Suspiria. Which is a movie about witches. Secret Coven of Witches. Whoa, hold on. It looks like there's another super chat here that I've got to read. That's exciting. Let's see. Steven, thank you. Let's see. Congrats on 31 straight days. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. It's been quite a marathon, I guess. But think about it, guys. I'm only drawing one drawing a day. Think of like what every professional comic book artist in America basically does, which is not just a drawing, but like maybe 6 or 7 intricate drawings across a whole page to tell a story, and they do that every day, again and again, month after month. So, you know, like how impressive is that? Like, you know, this has been a marathon for me, but like that's something that's just, you know, a normal everyday event for other artists. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I mean, one difference, of course, of what I'm doing in professional comic artist is I also have a full-time job. So, you know, I'm like sort of fitting that in as well as comic tropes. So, you know, if this was my full-time job, I guess I'd have a little more time to devote to drawing. But still. When did this movie come out? This one came out last year, in 2018. The original, I want to say, was 71. I could be a little off on that, but I'm pretty sure I'm close anyway. Yeah, it was the 70s for sure. I think it was 71. Full-time job plus weekly YouTube show plus 31 days of Inktober equals amazing. Well, thank you, Aldi. Thank you. Did I sell any cars today? No. Not only did I not sell any cars, like, I never even had an opportunity. Like, it was so quiet today at work. Presumably Halloween has a little something to do with that. I literally planted myself at the front desk like I was the one to get the next opportunity and sat there for 4 hours straight without a customer coming in. Very strange. Not normal at all. Just a weird day. I should like rephrase slightly. We did have some customers come in during that time, but they all had existing appointments with other sales consultants. So I just sat there. I sat for 4 straight hours until we closed. Not an awesome day. Not an awesome day. Perhaps people were being superstitious. Maybe that's so. Hello, Brian. I hope you have a great final night. I'm having a good one already. Not able to hang out, but wanted to let you know that I enjoyed working alongside you this month. Have a good one. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, the Snark. I see you just jumped in. Snowstorm where I live, 0 trick-or-treaters. Oh, yeah, I heard that there was a bunch of different parts of the country today that got, like, quite a bit of snow. It's a bit of a surprise because it's not quite that cold here yet, but, yeah. My friends in the Milwaukee area definitely got a bunch of snow. Not sure exactly where you are, but I definitely heard from my friends in Milwaukee that they all got snow. Yeah, Asia Argento became an actress. She was, Asia Argento was, I believe, dating comic book author and chef Anthony Bourdain. Pretty sure that I've got that memory right. Although I think they were having issues towards the end, but still. Connection to the world of comics, because Anthony Bourdain grew up wanting to be a comic book writer. And he was able to eventually start doing some comics once he became a famous chef and author, which I think is kind of awesome. That's a unique path to break into comics. Become a famous chef first. Remember when we went trick-or-treating during the no-name storm? Vaguely. I don't... Actually, did I even go trick-or-treating that year? I might have been too old. I might have gone out with you, but I don't think I wore a costume or anything that year. Hello, Emmanuel E. Yes, this is Comic Tropes. Was she in Triple X? Yeah. Can you get anything done during that time, or too unprofessional looking? Oh, good question, Jojo. When I'm just sort of sitting around, there's really not much I can do. I just have to be ready to take an opportunity. So sometimes, I can step away and like do something slightly work related, like move some cars around, or just do some calls, like checking in on customers, updating them, or just seeing if there's anything I can do to help. But mostly, if you don't have like an appointment and you're just there, you're just waiting for the next opportunity, and sometimes you're just sitting there. It's not very productive, but you have to be ready to assist somebody the second they walk in, so there's not much you can get involved in. I definitely can't do anything like on a personal level, like, type up a script or read a comic or anything like that. I can't do anything like that. Hello, Watchful and Harmonious. Pretty sad about Bourdain. Seemed like he had such a love of life to have the problems he had. Yeah, I know, man, but some of us outwardly might seem pretty normal almost all the time, and inside it's a constant struggle. Like, when I see somebody like Anthony Bourdain or Robin Williams or something kill themselves, I'm just like, yeah, I totally get it. One bad day is like more than you can take. So you have to be like really careful and like, take care of yourself every single day. Like really, like it's a struggle. Like I say, I've had very, very low moments where I've taken some steps that I wish I hadn't, but I'm still here, fortunately. All I can say is I totally get it. What's the last inking topic? Ripe. It is ripe. Did anyone here dress up or take their kids out in a cool costume? How does this tie in with Ripe? I'm being a little bit of a pervert. It's all about young women reaching adulthood. So, Ripe. Yeah. Jack also asks, did anyone go trick-or-treating today? Yeah, I'm curious. Did anybody go trick-or-treating? Even if not for yourself, like maybe for like a kid or something like that. Were you the guardian? I thought you were going to say that none of them were wearing deodorant. Well, that's possible too. That's what James took his nieces and nephew trick-or-treating. Very nice, very nice. Did they have cool costumes? James? Yeah, I was at work, so unfortunately I didn't get to see all the cool costumes. Chrissy handled all of the treat dispensing solo. Our nephew Carrie was Superman. I saw that. He was cute. Cute little guy. The only reason I'm quiet right now is I'm just sort of focusing on a little piece of the artwork, and I'm jumping right back in to the chat. Just bear with me. Not ignoring anybody. All right, let's see. Favorite superhero? I don't know, maybe Spider-Man. I like him a lot. Watchful and Harmonious dressed up as Crossbones, and little girl was Minnie Mouse. Let's see. No Kids on Iron Shell Street. I watched a lot of horror movies today. Very fun. I wish I could do that. Care Bear's nephew was Black Panther. Awesome. Also, JoJo didn't get many trick-or-treaters because of the snow. I drove around town today, 5 to 6 p.m. No kids out trick-or-treating. Snow, yes, but that just stinks. This holiday is for the kids. Yeah, I think we've all sort of gone through at least one of those Halloweens where, unfortunately, we have like rain or something like that, and we don't get to participate all the way. Oh, you know what? I forgot to draw something here. Oh well. Just put it in shadow. Oh, look at this! Sansanity knocking us all out. Wow. Yeah, hello Alfonso. Congrats on a great Inktober. Well, you just helped make it great. Thank you. Yeah, look at how everybody's impressed. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. That's really something special. Thank you very, very, very much. That's really amazing. All I can say is thank you. I'm at a loss for words beyond that. It definitely means a lot. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. James took kids to a movie revival house, watched a triple feature of horror films. That sounds amazing. Daniel walked his dog after his wife dressed her up as Totoro. That sounds adorable. My sister Jean dressed her dogs up today. Jean, you want to mention what you dressed them up as at all? I think that they looked really, really cute and cool. Jean always does a good job putting her two dogs in costumes. They're very patient and obedient for like staying still and getting a picture taken. But Totoro, that's pretty nerdy. Some of you guys are really generous, says JoJo, and a lot of people are going like, oh my god, use that money to buy yourself a new camera. I already got the camera, so it'll just sort of go to paying that back. Yeah. I'm excited for you all to see it. So, thank you again. Like, that's all I can say is thank you. There's definitely a small part of me that's excited that this is ending, just so that I can like have a little bit more time back to myself for some other things. But when there's like a super chat like that, I'm like, I should be doing this every day year round. Jean says, didn't go all out this year. Dressed her girl dogs up as cowgirls. Do you want to share your Instagram? You can if you want, Jean. Would I make an episode about Warren Ellis? Yeah, but I already did to a degree. I did. Not only have I mentioned him in several things, but I specifically broke down what he does in Planetary. So I feel like my Planetary episode is really an episode about breaking down like how Ellis works. Yeah. I'm not against revisiting him at some point to further analyze him, but yeah. Let's see. Hello, Flibby Jibs. That's a cool name. Whoa! Magic K says Blade Runner is tomorrow. Is that the day that Blade Runner is supposed to be set? Is tomorrow? Episode on Jerry Conway? Definitely would like to do that. That's a great idea, Itai. Hello, Captain Negativity. Hello, Rebel Leaf. Hello, Itai. I watched 2 episodes of Transformers with my brother. They were the ones where Devastator gets controlled by the Autobots and the Decepticons are trying to dig into the Earth's core. I vaguely remember that. Yeah, Deadly joins in, says that Blade Runner takes place in November 2019. I love that when we catch up to our sci-fi that's set in like the distant future and all. I love that. I loved when we passed Back to the Future 2. That was like at the time set basically 30 years in the future. That was pretty cool. So I guess tomorrow we'll all get flying cars. We can expect that. That'll be nice. Roy Thomas. I did discuss Roy Thomas in some pretty big detail in my episode about the Kree-Skrull War. Yeah, I didn't see Mad Monster Party, but some people were talking about it last night. I don't think that there will be any huge changes, Rebel Leaf. I think he's just... Feige will basically just sort of be approving things and, just sort of discussing big overall direction with, of course, an eye towards what could potentially become fodder for the cinematic universe. But I don't think that there'll be any big changes to what gets developed for the written arm of Marvel. Yeah, nobody's made a replicant. Well, wait, that we know of. It's so tricky to, if you write a sci-fi story that's set in the future, sort of balancing how far forward it should be with, like, how advanced the technology should be. Whoa. Hello, Najiad. Here's to the last night of Inktober. Happy Halloween. Well, I appreciate that. It's become a profitable evening, so I'm glad I did this. Just what a replicant would say, right? Now, I can pass the Voight-Kampff test. Check my pupil dilation. Just read The Long Halloween for the first time. I thought it was pretty cool, but the Tim Sales art didn't seem to fit it like it did in Superman. I personally am not a massive fan of Tim Sales' artwork, but I understand, I think, why some people are. Currently, my patrons are voting on various crime comics that I will cover this month. And it looks likely that The Long Halloween will be one of them. So, it's a possibility that I will go into some detail talking about Tim Sale's work. We'll see. My personal hope for like what I was going to be able to cover for the month was going to include Stray Bullets, Black Sad, and probably Criminal. Those are like my personal ones, but I decided to put it out there and let my patrons vote, and we will see where they go with that. Is Gotham Central in the running? No, there were other things that I would have loved to put in, like Gotham Central or the Parker novels by Darwin Cook. There were definitely several things, but I didn't want to give people so many options that it was like impossible to decide. I gave them 6 options; they can choose 3. We'll see. Oh, you haven't seen Army of Darkness yet? You're in for a treat, Najiad. That thing's hilarious and entertaining. I love it. Michael says he voted for Long Halloween. Fair. I put it in there, so it's up for me to cover. But personally, I'd really, really like If I could only choose one, I would choose Stray Bullets. I think that's a pretty exceptional modern day crime comic. There's a lot to talk about what makes it so special. But Black Sad is like not super well known, I don't think, here in the U.S., and I think that would also be pretty interesting to discuss. But you know what? There's so many good comics out there, and even if I don't cover it like right now, I don't plan on ending the show anytime soon, so it might just, be a little bit further down the line. The cool thing is that there are always big important stories and big important creators, so I don't think I'll run out of material anytime soon. And there's nothing that says that I can't revisit a creator to further analyze them. So sometimes I feel like 52 episodes a year isn't enough. Black Sad's the guy with the cat head. Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Yes. Very cute image. Thanks for sending that, Gene. Army of Darkness is one of my favorite movies, says Care Bear. Mine too. Mine too. Ash vs. Evil Dead was pretty good too. Yeah, exactly. Like once you finish Army of Darkness, the great news is you still have 3 seasons of Ash vs. Evil Dead and the Evil Dead remake, which you could argue is still set in the overall universe of Evil Dead and just doesn't focus on Ash Williams. Like like that. It's just more Evil Dead. Because I don't think it's really not like a direct remake of. It's more just set in that universe. So yeah, like there's still, like, even after you get past this 3rd movie, there's still a ton of Evil Dead left. Do you think the 60s and early 70s was the best era for exceptional comic book artists of varying styles? A lot could be said for the 60s and 70s because you were locking in some house styles like at Marvel and DC, very, very professional, but you were also getting like underground comics and a lot of European comics. So there was a lot of like sort of different styles going around. I think you could certainly make a very strong argument for it being an era of incredible promise artistically within comic books. I think you could certainly make a really strong argument for that. Have you read the Thing comics that serve as a sequel to the movie? No, I haven't. I'm aware of them, and I think I might have actually, now that you say that, I might have read the first one, but I haven't read the whole thing. Be shop as smart. Yeah, Ash vs. Evil Dead is really good. Really good. First episode is like directed by Sam Raimi, so you get like him right back in there, and then he is the producer of the rest of the show along with Rob Tappert and Bruce Campbell, who of course worked on all the other Evil Dead movies. So you definitely have like a continuity of the creativity, and while like who can match Sam Raimi's visuals, there's still some really great stuff that goes on. There really is. It definitely all feels like it belongs in the same story, in the same world. I liked it quite a bit. Was sad to see it go, but it ends on a high note overall, and it's still like a lot more Evil Dead than we would have ever gotten any other way. So I'm happy. Mom made me an S-Mart shirt. That's right. So I became a big fan of Army of Darkness, and that Halloween we were allowed to wear costumes to our job at Walgreens. I don't know if they still would allow something like that. And so I wore an S-Mart shirt and I think a harness like he wears. You've got a great memory, Gene. Oh, cool. Care Bear says Godzilla Mendoza just released a video about the Thing comics. I haven't seen it yet. I always watch Godzilla Mendoza's stuff. I'll be watching that. I definitely recommend him. That guy, he definitely helped me grow my audience early on. Kind of catching up to him, but maybe that's because I produce episodes a little more regularly because he's in college, which is incredibly time-consuming. But I owe him a lot, and obviously he's appeared in several of my videos now as like Spider-Man and Moon Knight. Really, really talented guy. Let's see. How was the toy selection at Walgreens back in the day? Not too much, to be honest. I think, we had like a few G.I. Joes, because that was still out when I was there. And then just like, I think Power Rangers were just coming out. Those would sell out really fast. That was like incredibly popular when that debuted. All right, Gene, go to bed. Good seeing you. I'll talk to you later. That's my sister, Jean, and obviously she's really supportive. Pretty awesome person. Do you anybody else out there have like, a close relationship, like get along, kind of like friends with their siblings? Trust me, growing up we had our fair share of squabbling and stuff, but we get along really well now. She's a great person. Oreo was our dog. I mean, technically Jean's dog, but she adopted him just after I had graduated college, and I was like living at home and commuting into Boston to work. So, in a lot of ways, he was the family dog in terms of like we all loved him. We all got to like help raise him when he was a puppy and like a young dog, and he was something special, and he's been gone for a few years now, but we all, like, everyone in the family and like friends, like, we all remember him very, very fondly. He was a special dog. He was really special. He was a border collie. He was really smart. He knew what names for like so many toys, and you could really just sort of talk to him, and he seemed to often get the gist of what you were telling him to do. He was very obedient. So he was a special, special guy. And, yeah. Like, my dad at his job had, like, pictures of my sister and I and of Oreo. Like, just because he loved him so much. And I don't use it anymore, but for a long time I had Oreo in my password. Then I sort of realized that a lot of people put their favorite pets in their password, and I started coming up with long encrypted gobbledygook. But there was a time. Yeah, he was a great dog. Let's see. My bro is in the room listening to the stream. Well, hello, Iron Shell's bro. Alfonso loves his big bro. Cara Bear gets along quite well with my siblings, especially my sister. Love to hear it. Store-bought action figures are okay, but you have to hit the comic book shops and conventions to find the good stuff. Maybe that's so. I don't collect a lot of action figures these days. Really got to take advantage of the time you have with your dogs. Yeah. I've always been friends with my sister, and she just got a dog called Oreo. We inherited the name Oreo. We adopted him through a shelter, and he was... so he was basically a rescue. and he was not quite a year old, and my sister really wanted to name him Logan. She just thought that that would be a cool name for a dog. But he was so smart, he was already answering to the name Oreo, because that was what he was given. So, you know, he knew his name, so it stayed Oreo, because he knew it. You got to kind of respect that when a dog knows his own name. You're like, okay, we're not giving you a new name. My brothers can be quite annoying, but they're still great. All right. 10-year of my sister's passing is coming up. I never really realized how much I loved her when she was alive. That might be a bit of a lesson for others. I mean, I guess that's true for everybody, you know. We don't know when anybody's time is up, even our own. So it sounds cliche, but there are just good days that we have with others, and you got to appreciate those. If you have like a really good day with a friend or family member, just like, that's kind of special. You're only going to have so many of those. They're doing a study in Seattle on extending the lives of dogs with an existing medication. It's an interesting idea. It's a tough call, owning pets, you know, like, in terms of, like, knowing when it's, like, morally okay to say goodbye to them. Like, you know, how much you can afford to take care of them versus, like, the quality of their life. Boy, is that a tough decision. Honestly, it's something I'm giving a lot of thought to these days with Chibi, but, she seems to want to hang in there, huh, little girl? Sometimes dogs are better than people. I get that. I get that. Yeah, some of this is like what I wanted to sort of speak to in an episode I made about, like, does death in comics mean anything? Because I do understand that, like, superhero comics are serialized and they're kind of soap operas, so anything can go storytelling wise, which includes bringing back previously dead characters. You're like, no, it didn't really happen. This person survived. I get that that opens up story opportunities. I forgive some of it. I certainly forgive it with, like, say, a villain, because that only makes the hero's life more difficult. But if, like, Chibi is fine. Chibi is fine. Chibi is fine. But, like, something like, in Spider-Man, they killed off Aunt May during the Spider-Clone saga. And it was a really well-written issue. It was a really good send-off. And then they eventually retconned it away, and I'm like, you can't do that in real life. Is it fair to tell stories where you bring back fictional characters? I get it. They're fictional. What, doesn't it sort of cheapen the idea of death? Like, and have, like, those stakes mean nothing when you can bring a character back, and you do bring a character back all the time. I don't know. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite element of Marvel and DC. It's just not at all like real life. It's so different. Let's see. I gave up superhero comics back in the 90s because they kept coming back from the dead. I basically just follow writers that I like. So if like they bring back like in the Immortal Hulk, they're bringing some characters back, but there's a very specific story idea behind it, so I kind of forgive it because it's well written. But it just gets a little cheap if you just read all sorts of monthly comics all the time. This is the cover of that Lord Gore album? No? Maybe you were talking about something else. Flash's death in Crisis messed me up as a kid. And that was a death that stayed in place for a very long time. I didn't think that they were ever going to undo it, but they did. I agree with you, Victor. Killing off Superman once, show the effects of it, and bringing him back, that's probably a good enough story reason. Since it was also planned out. They were saying, like, yes, he dies, but he's immediately placed in this Kryptonian, like, rebirth matrix that can, like, work one time. In other words, it was like, it was planned from the beginning. We're going to tell a type of story to show the world without Superman. But, of course, they didn't really want to get rid of Superman. That's a little different than, say, like, killing off the Flash in 86, and then in, like, 2005 or whatever it was, I'm just pulling that year out, bringing the Flash back, like Barry Allen. Sort of like, that wasn't the intent. That wasn't the intent. I know what you're talking about, Captain Negativity. Anyway, it bothers me. It's not my favorite, but it's not going to stop it. These things are, at the end of the day, business decisions a little bit more than anything artistic. Now, the writers and artists are being artistic, but, their hands are tied at some point by the people that own the property. I don't want to get too cynical because it's like, it just is what it is. If I want like more artistic comics, they're out there. It is just the thing that's like a small pet peeve is how these companies seem to basically be willing to pull the trigger on permanently killing a character, but then another group of people comes in and they're just like, oh, let's bring them back. And they're just like, yeah, okay. Whatever. How long do you think it will be before they bring Uncle Ben back? I don't think that they will. I don't think there's a good story reason to. If there was a good story reason, maybe. But I never thought that there was a good story reason to bring back Bucky, and I'll be honest, that one didn't bother me because of how well executed it was. Like, I do think that added to Captain America more than it detracted. And everything about, like, the way Ed Brubaker wrote it made sense to me. I was like, okay, I can totally believe that this stuff happened and he didn't die even though it seemed like he did. I believe that one. So I guess at the end of the day, it's all just sort of up to the individual, what they think of how it's executed. It's all in the execution, they say. They brought back Thomas Wayne and Jor-El, though, which seems counterintuitive. Yeah, I don't get that. Let's see. Lycan Scarabee Plays says, I found your channel not long ago. It's fantastic. Thank you for the effort you put in. You are awesome. Well, you're awesome for watching. Thank you. Thank you. I'm never against bringing back a villain. Because that just complicates a hero's life, so I don't think that's quite the same as me saying like, no, you shouldn't bring back supporting characters and heroes that have died. That's a little different. I'm okay with that within a sci-fi world. I'm so excited for my trip to Japan. Can't get here fast enough. It's going to be more work to keep the show like running and all, but it'll be worth it. It'll all be worth it by the time I'm there, which will be very soon. I can make it. Happy Halloween. Do I miss newsprint and comics? Yeah, actually I do. Here's where I think like newsprint could still work fine is go ahead and give us black and white comics, and then like maybe print in color for collected edition trade paperbacks on nicer paper. The newsprint is not going to take the coloring techniques that have evolved, but it should probably work fine for good black and white art. RGB color, huh? If you don't like seafood, you might enjoy kushukatsu while here. It's more of an Osaka dish, but you'd likely find it in Tokyo. Kushikatsu. I'll look it up real quick. Rebel, I appreciate that. Deep fried skewered meat and vegetables. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Oh, that looks good. A deep fried cutlet of meat. Okay. Kushi is skewers. Katsu is deep fried cutlet of meat. That sounds good. Thank you for the tip. Yeah. All right. That's a good recommendation. Thank you. Power is out. Watching you in crystal clear 144p. What are we drawing? I'm drawing a bunch of dancers in a strange pose from what do you call it? Like from Suspiria. Wow, what a cool recommendation! Thanks, thanks much, Rebel Leaf. That's awesome. Kushikatsu. What a discovery. I love fish. I would be in heaven in Japan. I wish I loved fish. I do. I've tried things several times. I've never found a dish that I like. I tried it as recently as like last year when I was in Hong Kong. I tried some. I also had a noodle dish in Japan that had like, you know, like fish sauce in the broth and stuff. I mean, I ate it. I just didn't really care for it. I think I tried one piece of like fried fish at some place in Japan. So I keep trying it, but I just don't like it. But I'm not being somebody that hides from it. You know, I'm trying. I just can't find any that I like. I just don't like anything. I wish I did. It would open more avenues to me, and I like finding new things, but I just can't. Try poke? Well, maybe I should. Still have to watch the Suspiria remake. Yes, do it. No fish dish that you find delish? Nah. Yeah, the Suspiria remake is really good because it takes the basic gist of the plot, but it definitely is a remix of the ideas, and I think adds a lot of depth to it and adds a lot of like scares to it. I also think that the acting overall is an improvement. So yeah, I like it quite a bit. It was definitely something that I was glad that I thought of an idea, because I've been trying to cover a pretty wide swath of different horror movies for this month, and I was definitely happy that I was able to come up with 31 of them. Arguably, two or three of them are like, only vaguely horror movies. Like if I say King Ghidorah, yeah, he appeared in several kaiju movies as the villain. I'm not sure off the top of my head if he had his own movie. Off the top of my head, I don't remember him having his own movie. Oh darn, that was okay. What's another one? The Headless Horseman. I was definitely like thinking overall of the one from the Sleepy Hollow movie, but I didn't really copy that one's design too much. So that's See ya, Alfonso. Have fun seeing a horror movie. No dish of fish was to your wish. No. Is it just fish or seafood in general? I'd say seafood in general, because I also don't like things like oysters or lobster, or what do you call it, like crab. I don't like any of it. I've tried it all. I don't like it. I have not seen Creepers, James. Is it any good? What's everybody's Oh, I was about to say favorite food, but that's too easy. What's your least favorite food? Like, what's something you've tried? You have to have actually tried it, and you just didn't care for it at all. I would say, like, my least favorite thing that I've tried was abalone. That was probably the seafood that I liked the least. Anchovies, lutefisk, yeah. Are you happy it's the last day of Inktober? Kind of, kind of. Uh, Although I got a bunch of generous super chats and stuff, so it sort of makes me be like, maybe I should just keep doing this. But overall, yeah, for now I'm glad to have a little bit of a break, because I have a lot of other stuff creatively that I want to work on, and I just don't have the time. So yeah, let's see. Okay, we're seeing what else? Shellfish, sea cucumber, sea urchin, beef liver, liverwurst, Brussels sprouts, um, guinea pig. Oh no, yeah. Onions. Oh, I kind of like onions. Okay, liver, pickles. I actually went to Pickle Festival when I was in New York just earlier this month, and I had a great time. But hey, if there's things that I don't like, I gotta respect that there's things other people don't like, so I can understand it. I never ate it, but seeing Geoduck. Geoduck? What's that? I don't know what Geoduck is. That one's one I don't know. Does Inktober contribute to carpal tunnel syndrome? Any repetitive motion that you use your hand or your wrist for could contribute to carpal tunnel, but I don't think this is doing anything near enough. I don't have carpal. Beetroot. Coco has a hood now. Hoodie Coco does? Alligator is pretty good. I had alligator once. It was okay. Honestly, tasted pretty close to chicken, in my opinion. They eat guinea pigs in Chile. Oh, huh. I never knew that people ate those. I didn't think alligator meat was that strange. I thought that haggis is pretty gross. Haggis is a little tough. I don't think I could eat a sheep testicle. I know that like things like sheep eyeballs and sheep testicles are things, but I don't think I could do that. Seed Hill says he likes haggis. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I would be surprised if you said that you didn't. I mean, you need to support where you're from, right? Represent. Represent. Alligators are edible. Yeah, they totally are. Yeah, they taste like chicken. I ate roasted crickets at a Mexican restaurant. Tastes like sunflower seeds. I had roasted cicadas once. Geoduck looks like a clam with a huge tongue. I used to see it at Korean markets. I'll have to look that up. I don't know that one. That one's just... Whew. I've never eaten bear. Do people eat bear? I guess, of course, people had to have at some point in the past, but I sincerely did not know that people ate bear. I knew people hunted bear, but I didn't think it was for their meat. Bear chili can be good. Huh. People do eat bear. Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess people eat every meat, so I shouldn't be surprised, but I just thought of them as like being for like their fur or something, not for their meat. That's interesting. Bear meat. I've had what do you call it? Like venison. You know, I've had deer. And it's okay. Although eating a little too much of it can make me a little like sort of queasy, but like it tastes good. I just one time I had too much of it. Bear. Huh. Eskimos eat polar bear. Do they really? Honestly, didn't know about that. Did not know. My stepdad is Native American. He'd hunt and eat bear every now and then. Said it was salty. Huh. I go to a game dinner every year and we eat a lot of weird stuff. I can respect that. I'd be salty if I'd been shot and eaten too. Yeah, venison was pretty good, but it was it is a little gamey, but there's a good flavor to it. It just one time I was like, it was like a Christmas party or something, and someone had made like her dad had, you know, provided her with some venison, and she was a good cook, and she made like I think just like meatballs out of it. It was good, and I had too many. I started to get like a little nauseous from having too many. Chrissy's a pretty adventurous eater overall. She'll try most things, and I don't want to like let her down by like, you know, being lazy and not having certain things. So I try to be a little bit adventurous. I'm not the most adventurous eater. I wish I liked stuff more. I just see like chefs on TV get so much pleasure from certain foods, and I'm like, I would love to get that kind of pleasure from eating certain things, but instead I don't. The main reason I decided to draw this is that, well, twofold. One is just because I haven't drawn too many women throughout Inktober, and I can always use work drawing female anatomy. And then second, um, I knew I intended to do something with, like, these hands, intentionally posed at very specific sort of angles and everything. And I was like, yeah, let me work on drawing hands. One can get horse meat in Quebec and one place in Vancouver. I would never eat horse meat intentionally. There's certain things animals that I wouldn't eat, like a dog or a cat or a horse. I feel guilty enough sometimes eating pig. I wouldn't eat dolphin. I have some vegetarian and vegan friends, and I respect what they do. I can't bring myself to do that. I feel like I wish that I'd eat more, not less, of what's out in the world. But I can respect it. I can. She looks like Kali with all those hands. Yeah, well, that's kind of the idea. Someone earlier was saying they were thinking of Spiral, and definitely was thinking of that. But it's just two people, like, leaning their heads over her shoulders and spreading their arms out. Her arms like this, her arms like this, and then this one's arms out like this. And I just, I don't know, I thought that was complex and worth. I thought it was a good challenge. Hello, Clay. I don't think you're that late. I'm not planning on hurrying out of here. I once gave my cousin some cookies from Japan. As I was walking away, he whispered to his dad, "They eat dogs." I don't think that anybody in Japan really eats dog, as far as I know. Just put rum in the eggnog, it'll be fine. Store eggnog is what you drink when you want something sweet. Real eggnog is what you drink when you've lost a bet. Is real eggnog more eggy? I don't care for the taste of egg. So I don't mind egg as an ingredient within things, but I don't care for egg flavor. So I don't really care for real eggnog or like an omelet or something like that. It tastes too much like the egg, and I don't care for the egg. I don't mind egg as an ingredient. I just don't care for the taste of it by itself. I had a hangover from mead once. It was terrible. I have some mead in my refrigerator I keep meaning to have. I don't know. I feel like I'm saving it for something special, but I don't know what that would be. Fat washed scotch is a weird experience. Okay. I have a bottle of Polish vodka that's 97% alcohol. Oh my god, that sounds brutal. Sounds brutal. Yeah, eggs are actually supposed to be like pretty overall safe to eat raw. In one thing I found in my travels is that like here in America, we always like get our eggs out of like the refrigerator and we put them in the refrigerator. But from what I've learned, that's not necessary. Like eggs aren't going to go bad very quickly. As long as they have no crack or anything. And a lot of other countries don't refrigerate their eggs like we do. And they don't get sick from it. What is black pudding? What is black pudding? I missed something. I don't know what black pudding is. If somebody could explain it to me briefly, I'd love to learn something. But I don't know what it is. There are sausages. Oh, sausages made from blood pudding. Okay. So it's actual, like, sort of congealed blood, just, for the most part, black pudding is just congealed blood? Blood sausage. Okay. Huh. What if you like your eggs with crack? That's fair. Farm fresh eggs don't need refrigeration, but processed ones do. Okay. That's an interesting distinction. Didn't know that. Okay. Yeah, Rebel. One thing I've definitely noticed whenever I visit Japan is they love putting a raw egg on top of like all sorts of dishes. It's like seems so common over there that like everybody just loves to throw a raw egg on top of whatever they've cooked. Whoa, Penguin with a super chat saying happy Halloween, Chris. I'm playing Resident Evil 2 Remake. Hope you have a great night and a good weekend. Well, I definitely will do my best. I'll be working, but I'll be having a great one. Thank you very, very much. That's kind of you to give a super chat. And if you ever need more of me and still want to play Resident Evil, just remember that I'm the 2 playable characters in Resident Evil 6, I want to say. You can choose either Chris or Piers. Either one, you're playing as me. Trust me, that freaked me out the first time I booted up the game Resident Evil 6. You start up and there's a character select screen and it says, select character, Chris Piers. And I'm going, how did this game know my name? I'm like looking at it going like, I don't remember like putting in my full name into like my system or anything. Like, why does it? I'm like, where's it pulling that from? I like really sat there for a while. I'm probably the only person in the world that had that. But the 2 characters are named Piers and Chris, and it says Chris Piers like on top, and I'm going like, character select Chris Piers, and I'm just sitting there like for a couple minutes going like, I don't understand how this game knows it's me. And then I realized that I could switch between Chris and Piers, and I was like, oh, okay, what a weird coincidence. But I really sat there for like a few minutes, like wondering like how a video game had figured out my name. I'm going, let's see, I don't put that in my system anywhere. Like, what's it pulling that? I'm like, does it pull it from like, does Capcom connect to Facebook or something? Did I give it permission to do that? I really sat there for quite a while trying to figure that one out until like I bumped the control stick and all of a sudden it was like Chris or Piers. I was like, oh. That makes sense. The Twilight Zone song, yeah. Capcom has cameras planted everywhere. There's a character in Ravenloft novels with my same name, which freaked me out because mine isn't common at all. Oh, wow. Victor Wachter. Gotcha. I probably mispronounced it, but yeah. As long as it's not intentional, like, and you can't prove that anyone was trying to name it after you, I was like, yeah, okay. It didn't have any, like, debilitating effect against me that I could think of, so just was what it was. Did I choose Chris or Piers? I think I chose Chris. It's a cool thing for me to bring up when someone says they play D&D. Yeah, that is cool. My real name is usually associated with morons or villains. Oh, that's not fun. That's not fun. I use my real name because I couldn't think of a fake one. Early on when I was online, I made an intentional decision that I was going to utilize my real name as a way of sort of preventing myself from even being tempted to say like mean things on the internet, that I was like gonna hold myself accountable by using my real name on like my social media. I think overall it proved to be a pretty good rule of thumb. Yeah. I just have to watch my privacy settings and stuff in general, but that's okay. Big budget movie based on Steranko's Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'd try it. Ave. Avalon. Okay. Gru tended to kill everybody he came across. So, yeah. A guy at work asked me if I knew about the real Sheldon from Big Bang. Boy, I've gone a really long time without actually watching Big Bang. I'd catch like clips for like a commercial here and there and go like, okay, I kind of get what it's about. It's not for me personally. I don't find that sort of like using a nerd as the butt of a joke like repetitively. Like I didn't find that funny. And then just like 3 or 4 days ago, I'm at work and we've got this new employee and we're both in the break room and I'm flipping through the channels and he goes, oh, go back to that. That's called Big Bang Theory. Do you like that? And I'm like, I just played dumb. I was like, oh, I don't really know it. I've never watched it. I mean, that much was true. And he goes, oh, it's hilarious. Like all these guys are super scientists, but they all sort of poke fun at each other, like turn it back. And so like I turned it on and sort of grudgingly sat through my lunch hour with the Big Bang Theory on and kind of just confirmed to myself, I'm like, yeah, I don't think this is for me. I don't know, maybe I saw a bad episode, but I was like, Sheldor, how solve math? Ava, okay. Excuse me, Care Bear. Thank you for correcting me. I don't think they used any real Steranko art in Doctor Strange. They definitely used a lot of Steve Ditko inspired artwork, but I don't think Steranko ever really worked on Doctor Strange, did he? I don't think so. I think that you're thinking of Steve Ditko. Pretty sure. Not 100%, but pretty sure. 95% sure. What am I drawing? Asks Zach. Some dancers from Suspiria. You like Big Bang, all right? Well, all I can say is I didn't watch too much of it. It didn't really wasn't my thing. Don't think it's quite for me. Let's see. Mission Hill did the whole nerd thing better. I don't know Mission Hill. I do like the IT Crowd, the British sitcom. I find that one pretty darn funny. It's broad, but I think it's really funny. It's a show about nerds that I like. That thing is awful. Silicon Valley's great. Silicon Valley's hilarious. The cool thing about Silicon Valley is, like, beyond being funny, it's just like they put their characters in like the toughest situations that you're like, oh my god, how are they going to escape from like this problem that would like surely spell the doom of a business? And they find their way out only to like encounter like another insurmountable goal. Like that, it's really cool seeing them like cleverly get out of like these massive business problems. Hooli. New season did just start. I don't have HBO anymore, so I miss it. Watching you draw this makes me want to listen to Goblin. Good idea. Good idea. Halt and Catch Fire I never caught, but I heard that it was a well done show. Yes, Elmer. The episode where Roy just gets caught and he's, I'm disabled. What's wrong with you? I'm disabled. In real life, the IT staff gets to experience crunch time because the project lead was drunk. Yeah, that's totally. Yeah, HBO Max is getting a Green Lantern show, apparently. That's pretty interesting, huh? Flashdance was really a comedy. It sure is once you watch Andy Samberg's, what do you call it, Hot Rod, when he does Kevin Bacon's Angry Dance. How satisfied are you with life? I don't know. That's not a question that I'm... there's... realistically, I know I've got a lot of good things going on in life. I've got an amazing fiance that I'm happy when I get to hang out with her. I've got a lot of, friends. But my career isn't really where I want it to be. And I don't have like a best friend these days to hang out with since I've moved across the country. And my family's all on the other side of the country. No, I'm overall pretty depressed most of the time. But to fight that, I just keep busy. I like working on comic tropes. I like drawing. I like talking to all of you. That stuff helps. I don't like talking about like being unhappy because all that's going to do is make other people sort of unhappy and not want to like hear anymore. But I also don't like being dishonest, so just giving you a real answer. Where did I move? I live in the Seattle area. What compelled me to move so far? I was offered a great job. I worked it for a few years, and we decided it made sense to move out to the Seattle area because Chrissy's whole family lives out here. So she loved the idea of getting to be closer to her family. And I was happy to try it. Unfortunately, the job eventually downsized, and my career kind of stalled out because I don't really know too many people out here to network, so I wasn't able to stay in my same career track of working in marketing, and now I sell used cars, which is fine. It pays well, but it's hard work, and it doesn't interest me as much as working in marketing did. But now it's been too long, and I don't know if I could get back into my field. I don't know. It moves fast, and you have to stay abreast with like the current technologies and stuff. Let's see. Marijuana is legal in Seattle. Yeah, but that doesn't make it legal for every job, so I don't want to risk losing a job by engaging in that. No judgment against anybody that does smoke pot. I don't care. It's not for me. If I ever got back into marketing, there'd be a drug test, and I don't want to have that block my career. I don't usually drop in to talk, but I do love these art streams and the noticeable improvements you made in your artwork. Nearly friggin' publishable. Nearly. Well, thank you, Filthy. Let's see. I always wanted to work in movie making and video production, but I ended up being a pretty good tool salesman, only to lose it. Yeah, life is tricky, Clay. Are you still... What are you doing now, I guess I should ask. I hope you're doing well. You can always sell stock market advice. There you go. There you go. That's what I'll do. Any more acting jobs? Nothing in the immediate future. That one was just sort of offered to me by a coworker, and I said, sure, I'll do it if that helps your project. I'll do that, and I had a good time, so I'm glad I did it. No immediate plans to do any other acting, but if opportunities cross my paths, I'm up for giving it a shot. So far, I've heard nothing but good feedback, so I'm glad that it went over well and that maybe that helped my pal with his movie. I think he put in a lot of really hard work, and, I think it's definitely a big accomplishment. I'm a celebrity. Money is for poor people. There we go. $100 million budget. That is a pretty big budget for a Green Lantern TV show. They should just go ahead and engage in what every fan wants and cast the the guy that plays Diggle on Arrow, especially now that Arrow's over. They established that his he took the name Diggle like after like his mother, but like his father's name was Stewart or something like that. So like his real name is John Stewart. Have I ever watched Fear of Girls? No, I don't know Fear of Girls. What is that? I'm not afraid of girls. I don't know Forever Night. That was a syndicated series? A cop partner actually looked more like a vampire. I don't know that one. Green Lantern needs something to it to ground it, and you just said like a buddy cop, and I'm like, yeah, something like that could like help it. Like there's supposed to only be like one a sector, but like what if like one was sort of the guy protecting Earth, and like but his partner was like responsible for like, you know, a nearby planet or something, and they had to like cooperate together to help each other. I don't know, something like that. Like the only problem with Green Lantern is that it's so, I don't know, it's so weird, like how he's the Green Lantern for his sector, and there's tons of other space cops, but then like, you know, like what exactly keeps him on Earth? I don't know. Forever Knight was a cop who was also a vampire. Oh. I didn't know that. Earth is in his sector, but it's sort of, I don't know, it's just everything's always like his job is always taking him away from Earth, basically. To protect Earth, he always has to go away into outer space. And he's like, if he doesn't get to like live on Earth and just be a person. It's so weird. I never understood why there was 4 Green Lanterns on Earth. They just kept coming up with a backup, and nobody wanted to get rid of any of them because they were all kind of interesting. And there's, I think, even more than 4. This pose, I keep thinking of the Beastie Boys music video for what's the song I'm thinking of? It was whatever their last big music video was, and there's a huge dance off between the Beastie Boys of the past and the Beastie Boys of the future. And I don't know, I think that Seth Rogen does a dance that's sort of like this, like where he spreads his feet out and he's playing like, who does he play? He must be playing Mike D. Why would anyone build a robot in the shape of a little girl? I don't know. Why would anyone do that? Happy All Saints Day. It's now Inkvember. Oh no! Oh no, you're right. It is. It's a whole new month. It's Thanksgiving month now. All the children are being summoned back to their homes. They can no longer beg for any candies. No more candy for any of you. Favorite robot? Do I have a favorite robot? The Terminator? Maybe? Terminator versus C-3PO. Who wins in a fight? A fist fight. C-3PO does not have R2-D2, just to be clear now. It's just him. C-3PO, he has R2 to tag out with. No, he doesn't in this. RoboCop wins. Alright, who wins between RoboCop and a Terminator? RoboCop, Terminator. RoboCop. I think it'd be RoboCop. RoboCop's smarter than a Terminator. He's more creative. The audience. It's true. There's a RoboCop Terminator comic book that's better than you might expect. It's pretty cool. It's been a long time since I read it, but I remember thinking it was surprisingly original and like, yeah, made a new type of sense where like Skynet was tied to the creation of RoboCop. Frank Miller wrote it, and I believe the art was by Walt Simonson, if I'm remembering right. So, yeah, like, kind of badass. Sorry, I'm getting quiet. I guess I'm having fun, like, working on this drawing. Let's see. Gort. Yeah, Gort from Day of the Earth could beat them all. Probably. Buckaroo Banzai? Yeah, Buckaroo Banzai was a really good movie. Too bad that didn't have, like, sequels. I think that would have been a really cool series. I think that could have gone in a lot of fun directions. At one point, Kevin Smith was going to do a TV show version of Buckaroo Banzai. And honestly, I don't know. I'm kind of glad that didn't come through. I just don't know. Maybe he could have done it all right. It just didn't seem like a good fit for his style of humor and stuff. But I guess it would have depended on who he'd hire to work with him. But anyway, it did fall apart. Klaatu, Barada. Okay then. That's it. That had to be Ash's finest overall moment. The idea that he could fool some sort of cosmic entity into thinking he'd said the magic words. Didst thou sayest the words? I may not have said every tiny little syllable, but basically I said them, yeah. That was Mr. Pitt from Seinfeld. Was the old wizard guy. I remember when RoboCop saved Sting on WCW. Ooh, talk about embarrassing. I mean, none of that made sense. RoboCop was supposed to be set in the future, supposedly fictional, and then he was Sting's mystery tag team partner in a match. He just all of a sudden could enter a wrestling ring, and yeah. Does anyone remember the Macy's Marvel Thanksgiving Day parade float where RoboCop helped Doctor Doom? Doctor Doom was getting electrocuted against a wall, like after a superhero punched him into it, and then RoboCop shows up and turns the energy off so that Doctor Doom can get free. What are you doing? What are you doing there, RoboCop? Why are you even here? The answer was that Marvel had just gotten the rights to make a RoboCop comic. Why they decided to choreograph RoboCop helping Doctor Doom, that part I still can't explain. Yeah, I've seen the KFC RoboCop commercials, and RoboCop also did some South Korean commercials for some sort of like I don't know, microwavable tasty treats. And he steps through the TV and he steals the kids' food. RoboCop has definitely promoted some weird things, man. I can't be sure, but RoboCop might be a weirdo. Just letting you know it's a possibility. VCR and TV commercials. Oof. My favorite Marvel moment was when Luke Cage went all the way to Latveria just to get his money from Doctor Doom. I did an episode on that. There's a comic tropes devoted just to trying to figure that issue out. He specifically confronts Doctor Doom saying, "Where's my money, honey?" All over $200. It's the principal, apparently. Where's my money, honey? Do you remember when Magneto was beaten by a wooden gun? Yeah, but was that in an actual issue? I definitely remember it happening in the old Fantastic Four cartoon. I just don't remember if that also happened in an issue of the comic. $200 is $200. There you go. It was in the cartoon. Okay, yeah, then I definitely remember. Dr. Doom is a skinflint, in addition to being a power-mad dictator bent on world domination. Yeah, I guess he is. Who would win, RoboCop or Nicolas Cage? Nick Cage. Nick Cage, I think. I think we can all agree on that one, at least, tonight. Hey, I'm almost done. Suspiria versus Hereditary. I think both came out in the same year. That was a good movie. That was a good year for horror. That was pretty cool. Not the bees. Do not use it. You're talking about when Doctor Doom told Namor not to use the horn? Do not use it. Fool, Doctor Doom does as he pleases. Toot. Do I like Last Jedi? Very, very much. Yeah, I was really into it. Definitely gave me something a little bit different with Star Wars. You know which one has grown on me? I may have mentioned this before, but Rogue One. At first, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, that was an okay movie. But it's really grown on me. I really like Rogue One a lot now. So overall, I'm glad that they're making more Star Wars these days. Good night, Iron Shell. Thanks for coming for the last Inktober. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Mandalorian. That could be really cool. I hope it is. Everyone likes Rogue One, do they? It's good. Am I looking more forward to Obi-Wan or the Mandalorian? Right now, probably the Mandalorian, because it's totally unknown and it gives me something a little unexpected where I don't necessarily know what'll happen with the characters. But we'll see what happens when we get closer to Obi-Wan and once I know about the Mandalorian. But right now, I think the Mandalorian is going to offer me a little more of something new, which I like. And the reason to be excited about Obi-Wan is just the fact that Ewan McGregor is a really, really great actor, so it has that going for it. But we kind of know where Obi-Wan ends up, so not sure it's too important, whatever he does in between. Let's see. I don't want to buy Disney Plus, but Mandalorian looks awesome. Yeah, I already signed up. I went ahead and like bought the full year. I was like, I know that they'll have enough like stuff, Marvel, Pixar, and Disney that I'll want to watch. That I'll get my money's worth. The original like Marvel TV shows that they're gonna make, that's the kind of thing I'm into. So, there's part of me that didn't want to support Disney on that level either, but what can I say? I'm gonna like a lot of it. Enough of it that it's probably worth it to me to pay for it. I hope. And if not, I'll abandon them, and I won't mind. Am I keeping Netflix? Maybe. For now I am. But I don't know. I'm willing to say goodbye to Netflix. They're going to have to like sort of deliver some good original content or secure some good deals to make me want to keep it. You know, I'm even looking forward to like going back and like watching Simpsons seasons that I haven't seen yet, because I stopped watching The Simpsons forever ago. But if it's all right there on Disney Plus, I'm going to find out where I left off and just sort of pick up. Lowered expectations and all, but if it's free and easy to pull up, I'll keep watching it when I have time. They don't understand that Disney wasn't going to put mature content on Disney Plus. I missed something. Wonder when New Mutants will get released, if ever. Man, I don't know if it ever will, to be honest. I don't know if it like fits with what Disney wants to do. I mean, the only thing it has going for it is that it's finished. You know? So someone might just be like, look, we might as well make some money on this, but they might just decide never to show that thing. I don't know. It's never going to be released. I could see it being never released. I could totally see that happening. I think I'm only gonna color these sort of like red tassels, and that might be it. So I think I'm about to call it a night. I'll as soon as I'm finished, I'll look at the drawing overall and see if it needs something to feel complete, because I would sort of like to have this one feel complete. but I'm about to end it, I think, and I'll be back for just more drawing in like a month or so. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there. Kind of weird, I know, but I like it. Congratulations on an epic Inktober. Well, I couldn't have done it without everybody supporting me. Grateful for that. Grateful for all of it. Looking forward to the Willow series. Yeah, well, that'd be cool if they ever decide to do that. Hello, Jess. Hello, Mr. 32 Hunter. So, really nice to have so many folks jump in. I feel like I feel like this isn't quite capturing the detail. I don't know. I guess I can't quite get it at an angle to show it, but whatever. That's what I'm doing. If I had more time, I would like to sort of color all of this and make it like stand out a little differently, but I gotta call it a night. It's getting late. I gotta work first thing in the morning. It's almost been 2 hours. Am I gonna watch Picard? Well, to do that, I'd have to subscribe to CBS All Access, and that might just be one too many services for me. Let me see if this is fitting within. Oh yeah, I've got some room here, so I'll just do that so you can see basically the whole drawing. Let's you know what I can do real quick? Let's take a quick look back at all the pieces and see if there is any progression. We'll just take a quick look at the Inktober pieces. I believe I have them all. Oh, they might be not in order. Hold on. Oh, these might not be in order. I'm just flipping through some drawings here real quick. I think I'm missing a couple of the early ones. Hold on. Let me put this back here. Inksgiving. Are these drawings? Oh, okay. I've got a few more. All right. I've got them all. All right. I don't know if I can remember the prompt word for each of these, but we'll give it a quick shot. That was probably ring, and there's Sadako climbing out of a TV. Definitely don't remember the prompt word for this. Some lady shooting at zombies, from sort of inspired by Day of the Dead. For Husky, I think that was Jason Voorhees. I remember this one was frustrating because a bunch of ink spilled, so I sort of had to just work that in. Now, this is at the point where I was definitely in New York. I think this was Build, and I did like Amanda from Saw. Let's see, what else do we have here? I know these were all done in New York. Oh yeah, this was, I think something to do with like the cold or frost or something like that, but it's Jennings, I think is his name, from The Thing. There's the chief and a shark. I think the word for this was bait, and so I did Jaws. Bennings, close. For Enchanted, I did this Deadite from Evil Dead 2. Couple good elements in there. This one I was exhausted on. This one I'm not very proud of, but that one was like going to be the Mummy. I think it. I don't know. That one just fell apart completely on me. This one was Swing, and it's supposed to be what's her name from? It's Alice from Resident Evil swinging her blades. This one was Pattern, so I did Freddy Krueger and his ugly sweater. I think the word for this was Snow, and so that's like Dead Snow, the Nazi zombies. I feel by this one was like where I was getting a little more confident actually with my techniques. Like I sincerely remember feeling like around Freddy Krueger and Dead Snow, I was feeling a little more confident about what techniques I was starting to use. This one was starting to come out great. I ran out of time, but it was King Ghidorah. I'll come back and finish that one because I kind of like it. This one was another one that I liked that I didn't have time to finish. I light boxed in some gremlins that I'd been sketching. I think the word for that was ash, and they were all smoking. So anyway. This might be overgrown. It's Tetsuo the Iron Man, and this one's one of the ones I'm most proud of, actually. This one's one of the ones I'm most proud of. I think that there's some good emotion coming across there. This one's not bad. Obviously, I had time to do some color. Legend. So I drew darkness from Legend. Let's see. Okay, and then I had... don't remember what the word was, but I drew a werewolf from Dog Soldiers attacking somebody. This is ornament, and I didn't have time to finish drawing it, but he's holding an ornament here. This is Krampus. I think Krampus came out really well, too. Like, I like the face anyway. Howl? Is that the word? For Misfit, I drew Seth Brundle becoming this fly monster from The Fly. This one the word was sling, so I drew Nicholas, a Vincent Price character from The Pit and the Pendulum, like he's slinging that blade back and forth. And at this point, I'm sort of in my groove overall. I think I'm pretty happy here. I definitely was happy with this one. That's the Plymouth Fury from Christine. So I think that came out pretty good. For Treasure, I did the Leprechaun. Steal me pot of gold. This one's the one I'm most happy with overall. I can't remember what the prompt word was, but I just like not just the execution, but like the layout that I came up with of the eye being reflected in the knife. Like that. This is my personal favorite of what I came up with. Ghost. Okay, ghost was the word. This is Black Phillip. I think the word was ancient, so Black Phillip is basically the devil in goat form. For Dizzy, I drew Reagan from The Exorcist with her head spinning around. I like how organic some of like the hair there is. Might be just something like dark. I can't really remember what this was, but I drew Candyman and a gigantic bee that's really just supposed to be a bee in the foreground. Let's see. Oh, this one's gross. This one's a ruined head from what do you call it? Hereditary. That's pretty gross. That one kind of grosses me out. For Coat, I drew a little blade from one of the Puppet Master films. Oh, Sweet was the tag. Okay. All right. Or Tasty. Tasty was the tag for Candy. Yeah. For Ride, I did the Headless Horseman. Don't love the Horseman, but I do like the horse quite a bit. This is the one that I'm second happiest with. For Injured, I did Pennywise, and I didn't quite get to finish it. I'd be darkening in some of this area with shadow to like sort of match here and some detail on his legs, but pretty close to done. Pretty close. We're almost done. Let's see. Last night's was Caught. So I drew Chris from Get Out, and he's strapped into a chair, but he's picking his way out. And then, of course, tonight's for Ripe. So you just got to see a summary of 31 days. I don't know if it's necessarily consistent, but I think that there's some progression. I think I learned at least how I will approach certain areas for feathering and stuff like that. So, you know, I used thinner lines back here, but had certain blacking techniques that I liked. And then by like, you know, like the middle, I was like doing like real heavy like blacks, and I started like how rounded some of this was, and like over time I just sort of found ways to sort of blend those two ideas together. Yeah, I know the Mummy fell apart on me. I just definitely not happy with that one, but what can you say? Like, all I can say is I didn't bail on it. I kept trying, but it just didn't come out. Anyway, at least I'm honest, and I had fun with y'all. This is the end for now, but I'll try to come back in about a week do some more, and definitely have plenty of comic tropes coming up. So you'll see my ugly mug and hear my nasally voice plenty soon enough. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for all these kind words and the interesting chat conversations. I'll see you soon. Until then, I want you to keep reading comics. See ya. Yeah, I'm just gonna end it there. Bye.